Hi all, welcome to the channel, welcome to the workshop. Happy Monday everyone. Yes, Monday again, which means we have the Mallard. Got issue 91 here. This is the start of the front bogie, and surprisingly we don't need any parts from previous issues. We've got all the parts we need in this fret, and as you can see there's quite a bit to do. So let's get into it, let's get building.
Welcome to the workshop. Tools are ready to play. We're gonna build something great, starting here today. Piece by piece we go now.
Right, so issue 91 of the Mallard, and as you can see we have this fret looking like that. And you can see we do have quite a lot of parts on this one. And all we're going to be doing is a lot of bending and a lot of gluing, it looks like, until we end up with the frame for the front bogie. And we've got the Mallard story and Britain's Railways. Now, I have actually had a look. The next issue we do have springs, axle bushes and the bogie mounting block. Now, we're not just concentrating on the bogie next time, we're doing a little bit more to the main chassis of the engine as well. So there's quite a lot to do in issue 92 as well, so that'll be next week. Right, so we're just going to start off with this part. Let me get that one out. Just going to do the usual quick cleanup. Right, so with that all cleaned up, just going to bend these sides up. Now, before I bend this one up, we do have a couple of little tabs here on this one, and two here, two here, two here. And we need to bend them so the tabs are facing inwards. So I'm just going to use the end of my screwdriver here and just start these off. Just pushing them in like that. Now the reason I haven't bent these ones up yet, or this side, is because I can currently get in there and just help this bend upwards. And I can actually see what I'm doing a little bit without this side being in the way. So just going to bend all of those up. So they're set up at 90 like that. Just going to do the same with this one. Just start them off with a screwdriver, and you can use a pointed file or anything that'll just push these through like that. And then I'm just using some blunt tweezers here just to bend them up the rest of the way. And with all those bent up, we can now bend this side up as well. So we have that looking like that. Next we've got these little guard irons, and all we do with that is, again, bending them outwards, like so. Now we don't need these at 90 degrees. I think they're going to be about 45-ish. And then the very tip of them, we need to bend so they're parallel with this. So just bending that one up as well. And then you can probably just adjust these arms a little bit, just so we've got those pointing straight like that. Now I need this piece, which is the bogie rear plate apparently. Pull that one out. Again, just going to clean off that excess. So the bogie this way around, we've got this bar that we've just cut out, and that's just going to sit in there like that. There's a couple of little recesses that the two ends will sit into, and then we just need to glue that in place. And then we're going to do the same thing for this piece, which is the front bar. And this one is going to go into the two horizontal points there, like that, with these points facing outwards. And while that's in there, I think I'm just going to grab a little bit of glue and just drip it into the sides. Now that that's in there, we're just going to bend these four little tabs, and they're just going to bend up at 90 degrees like this. So that's looking just like that. Next we need these two little detail pieces, and they're just going to sit in here. So just try and wiggle that into position. So basically sitting on top of that plate that we've just put in. It's going to sit like that. Now with that sat just like that, just going to touch the side of it with a little bit of glue. That'll be enough to hold that in place. And do the same thing for the other side. Now what we need to do is just double check that these sides are flat, so we need to take off any residual tab or glue. So I'll just do that with this rear section, so that's smooth. Same with this one. That's nice and flat. Just double check this one where we put these tabs in. So we've got all those pieces nice and flat, and we're basically going to be putting the detail pieces in. Now we are advised to use a two-part epoxy for this, but I'm just going to use super glue. It's basically just going to be a case of lining that up on there. You can see we've got this little cutout here. I'm just matching those cutouts basically, and obviously making sure that we've got these holes aligned as well. And it is a nice snug fit on there, so it is an exact fit. So all I'm going to do is put some super glue on here, and then we'll just lay that in place like that. Right, so that's one in place like that, and just got some clamps on there to hold it. Going to do the exact same thing for this one. Again, just putting some glue on there and then putting that in place. Now you can see I'm not putting loads of glue on there because it will spread when this gets some pressure on it. There's just enough there that it will float around a little bit so that I can get this all lined up. And again, just going to use the clamp just to ensure that is held in place while that glue goes off. Whilst waiting for that glue just to go off, we'll take out these two parts, which are the front mud guards. and we need to give them a slight bend. So we do have a little bend line there. So I'll just get that bend started. So it's only a slight bend. I'll make sure it matches up with that when we come to actually put it in place, which will be very shortly. And these are just going to sit on here like that. So those tabs that we had earlier are basically just to hold this in place. I'm just going to bend that tab and shape it a little bit better. But it's just going to sit on there like that. And then this bend here is going to match that basically. So we end up with something that looks like that in there. So just going to bend this a little bit further. So it matches that curve a little bit better. And then we'll get that glued on there. Going to do the same for this side, just some glue on these little tabs. And then also just down this edge. And then we get that one set in place as well. Just like that. Next, we're just going to bend these two tabs at 90 degrees out like that. And like that. And then what we need are these detail pieces here. We're just going to basically slot these through that and then stick them on there. Now, you might just be able to see there is a little slot just there. And basically what we need to do is take this piece. That's going to sit with the detail facing outwards. It's just going to sit over there, lining up with that slot. And then we're going to take one of the other pieces and then basically slot it all through. And then we'll glue it in place. It might be, we can just take a little bit off the bottom of this, just to get it to line up with that slot properly. And the easy way to do that is going to be just hold it in a pair of pliers and use a file. Basically what we're looking for is that slot just to line up, which it now does perfectly. Now the instructions do say to glue these bits together first and then put it on there. However, from previous bits that we've done similar to this, I find it easier to do it this way. So we've got this little bracket that you can see it's in a triangle shape, and we've got the tab here. That tab's just going to go through that hole and hopefully line everything up like that. And then once we're happy with the position, I'm just going to put some glue on it. So it looks pretty good to me. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue just on the outside of this. That'll hold that bracket in place. And then I'm just going to hold that little triangle piece in place and put some glue on the back of the tab. Just like that. And that will hold that in place. You can do the exact same thing for the other side. Right, and that's now both sides done like that. It looks like one of the last things we're going to do today is take this piece, and we need to bend it and shape it, but it doesn't look like we're actually gluing it in place this time around. And I know why. It's because this will hold, I think, a set of springs in the next issue. And again, all of these bits at the moment we're just going to not use today, but we'll leave those on the sprue so we know what they're from and we don't risk losing them. But as you can see, we have used pretty much everything on there, apart from half a dozen bits. So let's get on and finish off this piece. And quite simply, all we're doing is bending that up at 90 degrees. We're going to bend this one up in the same manner. And then we've got these two tabs like that, and they're just going to bend outwards. Again, 90 degrees and 90 degrees. And then what we're going to do, we're just going to do a test fit. It's actually going to sit in here. Now what we're looking for is all those holes to line up. And that's actually not a bad looking fit, to be fair. I might need to spread it out ever so slightly. And we can do that just using the pliers, like so. I'll just do another test fit on that one. And that looks pretty good. Hopefully you can see that on the camera, that those holes just there are lining up. Now, I'm not gluing that in place, but I will probably just leave it there, just because it's safe there. And it's actually so tight in there, it's actually not going to fall out. So hopefully that will mean I'll remember where I put it next week. So that is all there's to do in that stage. Now, before I finish, I will just give you a quick look at what is coming up next week. As you can see, we have quite a lot of parts, but you can see we also need a lot of parts that we've had previously. So you can see we're building up this block. That is going to go into this eventually. As you can see, that's the piece we've just created. So we've got some bits going onto here. And then we have even more instructions. We have tons to do on this one. So that is that piece done, I believe. And then we're moving on to the frame of the main engine again. And we're doing a little bit more with the brake rods. And again, these are parts we had previously. We've got some rod we need to cut, put it through there, and get all of that done as well. So that will be coming up next week. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please remember to hit the like button below and give us a massive thumbs up. So that is our front bogie. Not much to show for it, but at least it means we're another stage forward in the Mallard build. Now, I do have that piece in there that I need to try not to lose. That was just sat in there. Next week, I think we are actually placing that piece in. As you saw, we will be working with some springs, continuing on the front bogie, and also doing a little bit of work to the main engine chassis as well. So if you want to see that, make sure you do hit the subscribe button and ding the bell for notifications. That way you won't miss out on future videos. That is completely free, but if you want to see this video a little bit early, maybe on a Sunday night, which is when I actually release it, it gets released to members only, and to become a member, you can hit the join button. Now, there is a small monthly fee to that, but as I say, you'll get early access to some videos as well as some behind the scenes videos as well. So do please consider joining the channel as well. If you want to help out the channel a little bit more, maybe have a look at some of the new merch that's scrolling around down the bottom there, including this new warning t-shirt for model builders. So do check that out as well. And if you want to chat with me, try and join me on a live stream. I have a live stream on a Tuesday night at the moment, 8 o'clock UK time, and I'm currently working through the Lego Orient Express if you want more of a train fix. So maybe you can join me on Tuesday, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Cheers!